that you are making a comment concerning a statement of fact that this matter has been addressed by the bill, that it is administrative position.
Yes, Madam Speaker. But
So
you know, he has
Professor,
said he's talking about an acting teacher for TSC, where there is no position for an acting teacher. It's an acting position for an administrative position, and not an acting teacher, Madam Speaker.
Professor Undo, you know you are very sharp, so please make reference to the bill and get your facts right so that you are not disturbed by these points of order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let us read plain English. There is no other sugarcoating here, because it's amending Section 32 of the original bill. And Section 32 of the original bill, Honorable Speaker, talks about publication of the Register of Registered Teachers. Period. It does not talk about appointment in administrative position. And Honorable Speaker, for record purposes, Teacher Service Commission does not appoint. Teachers does not appoint. So let me get it clear. So, Honorable Dawood, let me read for you the words in plain English. The commission may appoint a teacher in an acting capacity for a period of at least 30 days, but not exceeding a period of 6 months. Simple English. No reference is made on administrative capacity position or anything else. That's why I'm saying at the Committee of the Whole House, we must rectify and make it explicitly clear that here we're talking about acting either a deputy head teacher, a deputy principal, director of studies, those administrative positions allowed for under the Basic Education Act or under the scheme of service of the Teacher Service Commission, as well as the scheme of service of the Ministry, State Department of Basic Education. Regardless of that misunderstanding, as I said from the word go, this is a very progressive bill. Honorable Speaker, we have had so many teachers, very senior teachers, who have acted in positions for donkey years. When it comes to the times of interviews and promotions, they are told you have not gotten ascended to a certain grade, so you cannot be considered. You can imagine, Honorable Speaker, a man or a lady who has acted for 1.5 years in a school, and somebody else from probably even much young or junior comes and starts now being his boss, yet that person does not even understand the culture and the spirit of that school. If a teacher does not meet the grade, then the honorable thing to do not promote that teacher to an acting capacity. You are demoralizing that teacher. You are actually doing more harm to him or her than you are doing any good. So, Honorable Speaker, and it's also very progressive, a teacher appointed in acting capacity shall be entitled to a special duty allowance. It's a common practice. If you are appointed to act on behalf of somebody, then there must be a duty allowance to follow the services you are offering. Honorable Speaker, my colleague proposes to include fourth schedule. And fourth schedule has got a list, a plethora of allowances. It's a very good idea, very well intentioned, but I really don't want a situation whereby we promise our teachers heaven and deliver hell. It will be very, very demoralizing, and we are going to set up teachers into some necessary industrial action. I'm 100% sure, Honorable Speaker, and I have this premonition, that most likely this bill might be declined to be assented to on account of fourth schedule, and what they will tell you, Honorable Member, is that the physical space cannot accommodate all these allowances you have listed here. Typically, when you go to shoot, make sure you aim your target. Imagine you have only one bullet left, but you are still young, probably have more bullets. When you have only one bullet left, you make sure you aim very, very precisely so that you don't miss the target. I would urge you, probably sit down, have a chance to sit down, the guys at the State Department of Basic Education, have a chance to sit down with people at Treasury, and even the Committee of Education, Honorable Speaker, and my colleague, and scale down these allowances to an allowances that we can know can be easily be achieved, so that no reason is presented here for us to lose such a progressive bill or to set up a situation that is going to cause turmoil in the education sector. But nevertheless, teachers deserve all this and much more, because without a teacher, many of us will not be standing here. Literally all of us. I don't know anybody here who didn't go through the hands of a teacher. In any case, in every community, especially in rural Kenya, a teacher is such a respected person, is an opinion shaper, is somebody who guides and molds our young people all over this country. I can't remember, Honorable Speaker, there was one time I had a disagreement with my last born, many years back. The teacher said something else. I thought the answer was different, but he told me very plainly, regardless that probably I was a bit more informed, that Mwalimu is right. You are wrong. We can imagine to the level we revere the teachers all over. It's therefore important, Honorable Speaker, whatever we present to the teachers must be wins and wins all over. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, let me go back to the original issue of administration of teachers. The performance of a school, the conduct of a school, and how the boys and girls or learners generally behave squarely depends on the character and technical qualification of the head of institution, be it a HOI in the comprehensive schools or the principal in the secondary and senior schools. I want to address the head teachers here today, the principals and the head of institutions. Remember, the very many boys and girls in your hands literally depends on you for their future endeavors. Their future life depends on you. It's therefore incumbent upon you to take this job, not just a job to give you salary, not just a job to give you prestige in society, but a job sent to you by the Almighty God to execute as part of his endeavor to make the kingdom on this earth a worthwhile kingdom that respects and protects the lives of the people. Honestly speaking, it must prick your conscience, we as parents and we as teachers and board members, that a child comes to school with a certain grade and goes back with a negative deviation. You have not added.
Thank you. The Honorable Phyllis Bator, member for Moiben.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also want to contribute to this amendment bill, and I want to thank Honorable Abdul for bringing in such a progressive amendment. Madam Speaker, teachers play a very fundamental role in our societies, in our schools. And I always say, there is no amount of remuneration which can be enough for a teacher because of the enormous work they do in transforming knowledge, in transferring knowledge to our children, and transforming our societies. Madam Speaker, it is the teachers who serve in our schools, irrespective of the ministry sending capitation very late. They serve in our schools when even infrastructure is not sufficient in our schools, but they still work and they still get patient and make sure that the schools are run well. The ministry sometimes even gets late in paying teachers who take students for sports, like what is happening now. Those who participated in the national games last year, up to today, they have not received any penny. Even those who participated in the Kenya National Examination Council, those who marked the exams and the results have been released, students have even been selected to the different pathways, others are awaiting to go to the university. And yet, up to now, they have not received even a single penny, but they are still patient and they are still running our schools. Therefore, Madam Speaker, this amendment is very progressive because it's hoping to cure the appointment, the problem of teachers who serve in acting capacity without getting any pay, and at the same time, when somebody else, when they can easily be left out when they get promoted. Madam Speaker, we have had so many teachers acting as administrators, serving as deputies, serving as principals of schools, serving as head teachers, serving in different administrative positions in our schools. But what happens, Madam Speaker, they can even serve indefinitely. The TSC has given a specified time that it can be 30 to 60 days. But Madam Speaker, we even have those who have surpassed those 6 months. They have stayed even for more than 1 year in acting capacity. And yet, when they are being considered, they are left out. You can imagine you are serving as a principal of a school for 3 years, and then after some time, when you are going back to your office as the acting principal, you find somebody else sitting in the office pretty well in a substantive capacity. How would you feel? Those are the things which demoralize our teachers, and these are the things which this bill, I think, by Honorable Aro is hoping to cure, so that it is very clear that if you serve as an acting administrator, you should be given priority when it is time to get a substantive administrator. They should not be bringing somebody else and then you are relegated to a classroom. Currently, we have so many teachers who have been promoted, just like the promotion which has just taken place. They have been promoted, they have letters to that effect as principals, deputy principals, head teachers, but they don't have a school to serve. So what happens? You have 2 principals in a school, one is acting, and one is substantive, another one just has been promoted but has not been given a school. So those are the issues which this bill, this amendment is hoping to cure, so that we have harmony in the Teachers Service Commission, and we have a very clear trajectory, so that when you are appointed as a teacher, you know you have a clear path on promotion and trajectory, so that you don't just remain acting and then you become demoralized. If there is anybody who shouldn't be demoralized at any time, is a teacher, because they play a very critical role in our schools. They are with our children. They take our children from a blank slate when there is no knowledge, and they grow them progressively, and until they become very important members of society. And I believe all of us, everybody must.
Thank you very much. Before the next speaker comes, we would like to recognize the presence of Nyimbei Secondary School from Baringo South constituency in Baringo County. And on behalf of the National Assembly, I'll give an opportunity to the Honorable Charles Kamuren, member for Baringo South constituency, to welcome them.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this chance. I want to take this opportunity to welcome Nyimbei Day Secondary School. Thank you for choosing to come to National Assembly where laws are made. National Assembly, as you have been reading, now, today you are seeing realities. Nyimbei, Honorable Speaker, is a school that had a lot of challenges as a result of banditry. This is a school which acts like a rescue center specifically for girls in that region. It's a school that has been performing very well, and I want to take this opportunity to congratulate them for doing well in Baringo. You are among the top schools in Baringo, as I call upon the Ministry of Education to see how they can improve their infrastructures, because it's a rescue school. Thank you for coming, and feel free in the National Assembly, because I know some of you in future will be here and you will be leaders in this country. Thank you and most welcome.
The Honorable Rachel Nyamai. Nyamai, you wanted to contribute to this? Oh, the next one, okay. Next I have the Honorable Member for Mombasa County. Kindly press the button, the intervention button. I can see next will be Caroline Ngeleche.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi niweze kuchangia hii bili ya Mheshimiwa Abdul Haro kuhusu Teachers Commission, Service Commission. Mheshimiwa Spika, mengi yamezungumzwa hapa, lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, ni dhahiri kuwa hasa sehemu ambazo ni sehemu za shida, sehemu ambazo hata walimu kupatikana pia ni shida. Mheshimiwa Spika, ukiangalia hata sehemu ambao Mheshimiwa Abdul Haro ametoka ni sehemu ya mitihani. Mheshimiwa Spika, na hii bill mimi ninavyoiangalia, japokuwa imeanza kuleta tashwishi, lakini mimi naiona iko sawa Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu kuna walimu ambao wamekuwa katika acting capacity. Unaona mwalimu amekaa muda mrefu na hana hata ile kiinua mgongo, hawezi kupewa Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo ikiwa kama hii bill, na sisi hii ni jumba la sheria na ni jumba la kutunga sheria Mheshimiwa Spika, na sisi ndio tunaotunga sheria. Jambo lolote ambalo linahusu mwananchi kule chini Mheshimiwa Spika, lazima jumba hili liweze kuleta marekebisho na kutunga sheria ambayo itaweza kuwasaidia wananchi wote wa Kenya Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, walimu wengi hawajaweza kupata ile ajira ya kudumu Mheshimiwa Spika, lakini utapata sehemu nyingi, shule nyingi hawana walimu Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa mfano hata Mombasa, shule ya Kaachonjo hivi tunavyozungumza mpaka sasa hawana walimu, mpaka wazazi wanaanza kutoa watoto shule, wanakuja wanakuuliza Mama Zamzam una programu yako ya second chance, lakini hii shule walimu hakuna, inabidi watoto wanafunzana wenyewe kwa wenyewe Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo tukipata mwalimu ambaye anaweza kushikilia kwa muda muhimu isipite miezi 6 Mheshimiwa Spika, na ni mwalimu ambao yuko qualify, ni vile hajapata ajira rasmi na TSC Mheshimiwa Spika, anaweza kusaidia wale wanafunzi, akaweza kuwafunza Mheshimiwa Spika, kuliko watoto. Ni aibu kuona watoto wenyewe, mtoto wa form 4 anakuja kufunza mtoto wa form 2 kwa sababu mwalimu hakuna Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo mimi napigia upatu hii, na hawa pia wakija kujitolelea. Niliona kuna mwalimu aliweza kwenda kule Garissa kufunza, amejitolelea, ni hardship area, kulikuwa wakati huo kuna matatizo, vita hapa na pale, lakini amejitolelea, anafunza, amevolunteer Mheshimiwa Spika miaka 3-4 na hakuna kitu anachopata Mheshimiwa Spika. Sio kuwa hayuko qualify kama alivyokuwa anasema Mheshimiwa Undo, yuko qualify lakini hajapata nafasi ya kuajiriwa rasmi. Umeona, lakini aweza kushikilia, akapata kiinua mgongo, akasaidia mahali ambapo walimu hawako Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo mimi nasema hata hao wa kusaidia wana haki ya matumizi, wana haki ya kupata nao kiinua mgongo waweze kupata chakula na mahitaji yao mengine Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo mimi nataka niseme matatizo ya shule ni mengi sana. Kuna mpaka walimu, nimeona mwalimu wa Chuda pale Chuda analalamika, mwanamke aliletewa mpaka ile promotion, barua ya promotion, baada ya muda akaja akapokonywa tena, na amekaa hapo Mheshimiwa Spika, baada ya miaka 4 ama 5 anaenda kuretire, lakini amekaa pale acting capacity kwa muda mrefu sana. Sasa imefika wakati yeye kupromotiwa, barua inakuja tena anapokonywa. Walimu wengi wanafuatia mitihani sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Hata tukiangalia Shanzu Teachers College pia, yule ambao yuko pale acting principal amekaa pale miaka 14, hawezi kupata hata ile kuinuliwa kuenda katika na kupata ule mshahara kwa kazi ambao anafanya Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo sisi tukiweka bill kama hii ya kutetea walimu, sote tunajua elimu ndio uti wa mgongo wa maendeleo ya taifa Mheshimiwa Spika, na lazima walimu wapewe kipaumbele ili tuweze kupata madaktari, viongozi ambao wameweza kufunzwa na mambo yakawaingia vizuri akilini, kuliko uweke mwalimu darasani ana volunteer, ana njaa, hawezi pia yaka concentrate, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo mimi nataka ni support hii bill, niseme ndugu yangu Haro, umeleta kitu kizuri sana, na lazima tutetee hata wale ambao wako kwenye acting capacity waweze kupata haki yao. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Thank you, asante. Honorable Zamzam. Honorable Rachel Nyamai.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And also thank you very much for indulging me earlier when I was trying to settle down. Honorable Speaker, this is a very important bill, and I would like to congratulate the Honorable Member. He takes a lot of time in this House, Honorable Speaker. Being a new member, he has done a wonderful job in this House, and I think this should be commended. Concerning this current bill, Honorable Speaker, it is extremely important to recognize that no matter what we do, no matter how much money we put in education, we must be considerate to the human power. We are putting money in infrastructure development for schools. We put a lot of money for research, training, but we forget that early in the morning, there is a teacher who wakes up at 4:30 a.m. to prepare her own children to go to school and then walk kilometers and kilometers, and particularly in our constituencies. For example, in Kitui South, where teachers go for 10 kilometers using motorbikes. Honorable Speaker, you need to come to my constituency and see female teachers on motorbikes going 20 kilometers to teach. And we must tell the TSC, and also all of us, bear in mind that the most important is the teacher who goes to school to teach our students. And this bill, Honorable Speaker, is suggesting that we should provide for teachers who are on acting capacity. And Honorable Speaker, I would like to give you a live example of a teacher who has a master's degree, who was posted in a school in my constituency called Monguni Primary School, and she has acted as a deputy head teacher for 12 years. And Honorable Speaker, what happened is that while she was in her school in Monguni, in Ikuda Ward, in Kitui South constituency, Teacher Service Commission sent a teacher to come to the same school where she had been acting for so many years. We would like to ask the Teacher Service Commission, what is the justification? And now that this law that has been brought is going to deal with such issues, such that someone acts for only about 30 days to 6 months, and when they act, then they should be compensated for the duty that they do. Honorable Speaker, when these teachers are being posted, you find that someone who has worked for 20 years and has been on acting capacity is brought a teacher who has been in service for less than 10 years. And it is actually, there is no justification. So I would like to ask, even as we wait for the law, the Teacher Service Commission, the Regional Commissioner for Eastern, the County Commissioner for Kitui, and the County Commissioner for Ikuda should rescue this teacher who has been calling me and asking me, what is the purpose of going to be an acting teacher, deputy teacher for 12 years, and then I brought someone to act. I think this is a matter that can be handled. Going to the matter of promotion, Honorable Speaker, I think he has elaborated very well in this bill that teachers must be promoted based on a certain a clearly stipulated boxes to tick, not just on those that they like. Concerning transfers, there are teachers who are transferred without their request. If it is done, and it is normally done for other professions, if someone is transferred from, for example, from Kitui, which rarely happens, to Turkana, for example, then we should be willing to pay for it so that we do not cause a lot of disturbance to that person. Teachers teaching in special education. Honorable Speaker, when these teachers go to be trained in Kise, someone is trained to deal with, for example, the blind. Others with the students, for example, people with cerebral palsy. Others on different, I can see my time is running out, but what I was just trying to say, Honorable Speaker, is that teachers in special schools need to be given better consideration. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I would like to say that it is extremely important to give these allowances that are being proposed by the Honorable Haro. If other professions are given, if judges are given, if lawyers are given, If doctors are given, then teachers should be given all the allowances that they're asking for. In any case, they are the best that we have, and they are the ones who will ensure that education in this country runs properly. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. We may now have Honorable Amina Mnazi, member for Malindi. I know Ngeleche, you were supposed to be next, but Honorable Mnazi is going somewhere. That's why I'm giving her a chance. We'll get to you.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, nasimama hapa kuunga mkono huu mswada wa Tume ya Utumishi ya Walimu mwaka wa 2024. Na naposimama hapa Mheshimiwa Spika, kama mwakilishaji wa watu wa Malindi, najua na naelewa ya kwamba masuala ya elimu lazima tuweze kupatia kipaumbele, hususan sisi viongozi wenye ambao tuko katika jumba hili la kitaifa. Mheshimiwa Spika, kama kuna watu ambao tunafaa tuangazie vizuri zaidi na tuweze kushikana nao vizuri, hususan sisi wenye ambao tunatoka sehemu za Malindi, sehemu za Pwani, ni watu ambao wanaitwa walimu. Na jambo lolote lenye ambalo litaweza kusaidia walimu katika utendakazi wao wa kazi, sisi lazima tusimame kidete ili tuweze kushikana na wao, ili tuweze kuwapatia mazingira bora ya kuweza kufanya kazi, ili tuweze kuhakikisha ya kwamba morali yao pale kazini haijashuka, kila masaa iwe iko juu, na tuhakikishe ya kwamba kazi yao wameifanya vizuri, watoto wetu waweze kufaulu hapo kesho. Mheshimiwa Spika, naona huu mswada unazungumza hususan kuhusu nafasi ya kaimu, ama kwa Kiingereza wanasema acting capacity. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, nasimama na kuunga mkono mswada kama vile wenzangu walivyosema, ya kwamba si haki, kwa mfano kama vile mwalimu mkuu ameondoka katika shule na yule mwanachini wake aweze aweze kuwa kaimu pale kwa muda, na kisha yule mtu asiweze kupatiwa ile nafasi permanently. Mheshimiwa Spika, hiyo inakuwa si sawa. Kwa hivyo kama kuna acting teacher mwenye ambaye yuko pale nje, naunga mkono ya kwamba isizidi, iwe ni baina ya siku 30 na baina ya miezi 6, TSC iweze kuzungumza na iweze kutoa msimamo kama yule mtu anachukuliwa permanently katika ile nafasi, na kama atakuwa hachukuliwi pale, tuweze kuelewa ni mahali gani ama ni nafasi gani nyingine ambayo anaweza kupatiwa. Na wale watu ambao wana act, wale watu ambao wamepatiwa hiyo nafasi ya kaimu, mahali pa kujishikililia, kwa sababu kulingana na ile barua ya TSC, ile nafasi si yako, unajishikililia kwa muda, ni haki yao Mheshimiwa Spika waweze kupatiwa pesa, waweze kupatiwa allowances pia, kwa sababu ile kazi yenye ambao wanakwenda kufanya ni zaidi ya yale makubaliano ambayo yako pale kulingana na ile contract yake ambayo ameweza kupatiwa. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, wewe mwenyewe unajua, kulingana na sheria na kulingana na tamaduni za kazi zote, hakuna yule ambaye anapenda ya kwamba awe yuko chini apande juu kisha arudishwe tena chini, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hivyo kulingana na tamaduni, na unajua ya kwamba ni vitu ambavyo tunaona zinatendeka katika sekta zingine za kazi, kama mtu amepatiwa nafasi ya kuact mahali, ni mapendekezo pia ya kwamba asiweze kupokonywa ile nafasi, ili aweze kuendeleza ile nafasi, aweze kujisaidia na aweze kusaidia wale wanafunzi wetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuhusu masuala pia pension, ni lazima pia tuweze kuyaangalia. Kumekuwa na malalamishi kadhaa hapa na pale kulingana na walimu wangu wa kule Malindi, ya kwamba pia hizi pension siku hizi kidogo wameweza kubadilika kidogo, mambo yamekuwa mazuri, lakini bado tunataka kwamba zile pension pia za walimu ziweze kuharakishwa. Masuala ya kwamba mwalimu anakaa baina ya miaka 2 mpaka wengine hadi 5 na hawezi kupata pensheni yake, hiyo lazima Mheshimiwa Spika tuweze kuiangalia, tuweze kupiga msasa, walimu ile pesa yao ya pension waweze kupata kwa wakati sawa, waweze kujisaidia na masuala yao ya maendeleo hapo nyumbani. Mheshimiwa Spika, pia masuala ya stahiki za ukomo wa ajira. Kuna wale walimu wenye ambao wameachishwa kazi, ama kuna wale walimu wenye ambao pia wameweza kuacha kazi wao wenyewe. Mheshimiwa Spika, hawa pia ni lazima tuweze kuwaunga mkono na tuweze kuangalia haki zao. Kama mtu ameweza kufanya kazi kwa muda, ako na haki ya kwamba aweze kulipwa kiasi cha pesa kadhaa. Hao Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu ya kule kujitolea kufanya kazi, pia nao tunaweza kuunga mkono na kusema ya kwamba hawa walimu waweze kupatiwa pesa, waweze kupatiwa allowance yao kidogo, kama umeacha kazi wawe mwenyewe, ama kama pia umeweza kuachishwa, nafikiria ni haki pia waweze kuangaliwa. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa kumalizia, sisi tunafaa saa hizi tuitishe hawa watu wa TSC na tuweze kuwauliza maswali, kwa sababu tunajua ya kwamba serikali ya Kenya kila mwaka tunajitahidi, na sisi hapa tunapitisha budget kila mwaka kuhakikisha ya kwamba walimu wameweza kuandika. Naomba dakika moja tena Spika. Lakini cha kushangaza Mheshimiwa Spika ni kwamba kuna area zingine Mheshimiwa Spika, hawa walimu hawafiki vile ambavyo sisi tunavyotarajia. Ninavyozungumza hapa Mheshimiwa Spika, niko na deficit ya walimu zaidi ya 500 ndani ya Malindi constituency. Tunaomba pia tume ya TSC wanapoajiri hawa walimu, wakati wanafanya zile posting, ile posting iwe iko na uhaki na usawa Kenya nzima. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Asante. The Honorable Baya.
Speaker, I thank you for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this Teacher Service Commission Amendment Bill 2024. Honorable Speaker, from the outset, I want to say that this is a very fundamental piece of legislation because it introduces certain important things within the TSC Act, Honorable Speaker. Speaker, you realize that Teacher Service Commission and the teaching profession has grown over years. And we want to thank those who have been there to ensure the growth of this organization to the organization that is today that manages teachers. And I want to commend the work that has been put by previous bosses at TSC. We can comfortably say that the teacher of today is not the teacher of 10 years ago. The teacher of today is not the teacher that was there 20 years ago. Great progress has been made. But this piece of legislation, Honorable Speaker, is a progressive piece of legislation that cures some of the problems that have been there. And one I want to point out, Honorable Speaker, is the idea of acting capacities. For many years, teachers have been acting in certain capacities without remuneration. I want to put it on record, Honorable Speaker, I was and I am still a teacher. Probably I have a TSC number, which probably is moribund. And during my time as a teacher, Honorable Speaker, I acted as a dean of students in a college. I acted as a deputy principal, Honorable Speaker. At that time, I acted as principal. And all this time, I was never paid. All this time, I was never paid for those duties that and I was very dedicated, and I did everything that could have been done by a principal, a dean, and a deputy, but I was never paid. And there are many other teachers in same position today who have been acting for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and they have never been appreciated or remunerated for it. So this piece of legislation, and I want to thank the honorable member who is bringing this bill, Honorable Speaker, that he has looked, Abdul Haro has looked at how do we progress the teacher, and I want to say thank you. How do we progress the teacher? One fundamental thing, when a teacher is in acting capacity, he must get that special duty allowance. He must get that special duty allowance to compensate him for the effort that he's putting in for that. But interestingly, Honorable Speaker, when I was acting, I got a letter from the principal that you are acting. TSC never gave me a letter. And in fact, when I went for my interview for deputy principal at TSC, they never even recognized that I had acted. They never even put that as part of my resume, you know, for me to qualify for the next promotion, which I thought was a misnomer because I kept insisting in the interview, but you see, I'm the acting deputy principal. But they say, but who appointed you? And I said, but I have a letter from the principal. And they said, well, that is your local arrangement with the principal. But the fact that this bill introduces a letter that must be issued to the teacher at appointment acting capacity makes it now a better position for teachers to act. And I think this is really fundamental and progress towards the management of teachers. Honorable Speaker, there are teachers there. Someone has been a games master, drama teacher, music master. They have a local appointment, not even from the board, from the principal. And they put in all their energy and they work so hard. But there's nothing that comes forth unless probably a principal, like I'm sure a principal Ben Soda there, was able to give a token to a teacher to appreciate for the good work. But I think we need to appreciate the teachers better by giving them a letter of appointment from TSC and also remunerate them. Honorable Speaker, I know my time is running up, but allow me to say this. Things like house allowance, commuter allowance, hardship allowance, special duty allowance, I want to thank the honorable member for now putting it in the law so that it does not become just a subject of a haggle between TSC and KNUT or KUPPET. It is now must be put in the law so that when such discussion comes, a teacher knows when I get a job as a teacher, these are my entitlements. I'm entitled to a commuter allowance, I'm entitled to house allowance, I'm entitled to special duty allowance, I'm entitled to hardship allowance as my entitlement as a teacher as I enter the service. And this is very fundamental. It should not become the subject of haggling and negotiation between trade unions and Speaker, let me just allow me 1 minute.
Please give him a minute.
So, Honorable Speaker, this is very progressive, and the teachers in this country deserve respect. We are who we are because we went through the hands of teachers. And a teacher, we used to be told, is a noble profession. But nobility alone, Honorable Speaker, does not bring respect. But law, statute, and things that are properly documented brings honor, brings respect, and brings proper duty of care to the teachers of this country. And therefore, I want to support this bill, Honorable Speaker, and wish the teachers of this country the best. And honorable members, let us pass this bill. It will progress the teaching profession and make it a profession instead of what we used to be called as a calling. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Caroline Ngeleche, member for Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this bill. First, let me appreciate the member Honorable Harrow, for bringing in this bill. Madam Speaker, there is something that is well noted in the Republic of Kenya, that a teacher is a very important person for the progress of this country and for every other thing that we'll need now and in the future. The participation of a teacher is very important. The population of Kenya, almost half of it are students, and they are all under the hands of a teacher. Remember, there is no other profession that is dealing with as many Kenyans as a teacher. And it's therefore very important that whenever there are issues to do with teachers, they need our support in this particular house, because if the teacher is not happy, most likely the student is not happy. And nonetheless, Mr. Speaker, we've been struggling and working hard as Kenyans to ensure that all the other professionals, be it doctors, be it even members of parliament, judges, magistrates, and all the other professionals are always made sure that they are comfortable, or at least they live well. Same to teachers, they have to be made to live a little or more comfortable, so that we can be guaranteed that our pupils and students and our children are in good and safe hands and happy teachers. Madam Speaker, one thing that I want first of all to highlight, in the morning there was a discussion on the remittance of benefits of teachers since 1997. Mr. Speaker, it's very unfortunate that since 1997, teachers have not benefited with what is rightfully theirs. I'm sure many teachers who retired in the 1997 have been suffering, and even others are no longer on this earth. It is very wrong when people don't benefit on their contributions while they can still see, while they can still benefit, while they can still enjoy. And on that, Madam Speaker, it is very wrong, and TSC should put in place mechanisms that even when somebody retires, it should be automatic. Why should somebody retire in the village and travel to Nairobi, start requesting people for accommodation to follow up on what they actually worked for in the years? It should be automatic. As they write, as a teacher exits the system, the TSC should start processing the benefits that are rightfully belongs to that teacher, so that we save so much stress that teachers go through following their pension. And even if you accumulate what the teachers use to travel to come and follow up on their benefits, it still affects on the economy of this country, because that is money not put in the right use. So, Madam Speaker, let me go to the bill, and I'm told that, and I'm aware that many teachers, over 3,000 teachers in this republic, act as deputy or head teachers for more than 6 months. Others act up to 3 years, 4 years, and I'm told that somebody has even acted for 7 years. I mean, that is so inhuman. If you can trust somebody to act for 6 months, why not give the opportunity to that person to be permanent in that particular responsibility? Because there is no way that somebody can act for 2 or 3 years, then suddenly that person is not qualified, and you bring in a more qualified person, and you demote that particular person. It is even worse that I'm aware that a teacher is given an acting letter to act as the deputy, then suddenly now another deputy is brought in, and that particular teacher is taken to another school and is given an acting letter to act as a principal. So you find somebody has 2 acting letters on 2 different capacity. But when it comes to the time that the opportunity is be given, it is given to another person. Let us motivate our teachers. If somebody can act, if somebody is doing the job very well, why fix it? Another issue, Madam Speaker, is the regulations of the TSC. There are allowances which are there in the regulations but are not effected, Madam Speaker. They should be put in the act so that the TSC is compelled to be giving teachers their allowances, their house allowance. Like for instance, when a teacher is on an interdiction, you find that they don't enjoy the house allowance. So where do you expect this teacher to live as they wait for their verdict? Are they supposed to go to the streets? Are they supposed to go and live with other teachers? Are they supposed to go and live with the students as they await their verdict? This should be rectified so that the teachers can get their allowances. And
Thank you very much. Oh, okay, half a minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. When TSC staff are taken on transfer, they enjoy their transfer allowance. The same TSC personnel or the same TSC staff who are supposed to effect the transfer allowance for teachers don't give the teachers the allowance. I mean, they are human beings just like the TSC staff. They should be given the allowance when they are taken on transfer, and it shouldn't come later on. They shouldn't move until they are given their allowance so that it facilitates them to move from one station to another. Otherwise, I support with all my efforts the bill by Honorable Haro that these.
Thank you, Caroline. I will come to you, Wabilianga, but allow me to allow the Honorable Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to also contribute to this particular bill. And first, let me thank the Honorable Abdul Haro for bringing this very progressive bill to Parliament. Because, Honorable Speaker, when you look at the context of the bill and what he seeks to amend, it's actually very progressive because it provides predictability and certainty in 2 areas that teachers have had issues for the longest time. Honorable Speaker, the other thing about this particular bill, because just so to give it context in terms of why it's very important and why we should actually do it in Kenya, is because if you look at the other countries in the Middle East, Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, in Africa, Zambia, Nigeria, they also have similar bills that are very specific in terms of how teachers' allowances are meant to be executed. Honorable Speaker, when you go to the specifics of the bill, because this particular bill seeks to amend Section 11 by inserting Section FA that speaks specifically about the different allowances for teachers that need to be amended. And most importantly, it's in consultation with the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, which actually makes it even more structured. And the 4th schedule actually sets out the specific different allowances that should be cured. Honorable Speaker, Section 32, which is also being amended, is speaking about the acting capacity and making this more structured. Because, Honorable Speaker, just as most of my colleagues have stated, you'll find a situation where a teacher is in acting capacity for the longest time without proper structure. So this particular bill is very specific in terms of, it says between 30 days to 6 months. And that particular teacher should have an appointment letter, and it should be specific, and that they can only act in one position. So those different articles and sections that have been provided for from section 1 to section 4 are actually very helpful, so that we don't have a situation where teachers are being taken advantage of. We don't have a situation where a teacher is acting as a deputy forever, and then someone else comes in and becomes a principal and they are overlooked, because it's very specific that they will now only act for a specific period of time. Honorable Speaker, when you look at the 4th schedule and the specific 9 different allowances that have been also indicated there, and Honorable Speaker, more specifically to Part C, which talks about the hardship allowance, which has been an issue for the longest time, especially for the teachers who work in hardship areas. And Honorable Speaker, hardship area does not necessarily mean a teacher who works in a semi-arid area. It can even be right in Nyamira, where the roads are bad, where they cannot access the schools where they go to, where it is difficult to even get public transport for the teachers to be able to go and take their responsibility, because there's no commuter in place. But also the fact that they now have a commuter allowance through this particular bill, and I'm hoping that we will all support it, then it makes their life even easier. Because, Honorable Speaker, all of us agree that teachers are extremely important. We are all who we are because we went through the hands of a teacher at any particular stage in our life. And so it is incumbent upon us to ensure that we are actually also giving back to them and giving them the best that they deserve, because they're very important people in our society. So, Honorable Speaker, with those few remarks, I'd just like to add my support for those 2 specific issues: the structure in the acting capacity, and the allowances, especially the ones that have been specified to this particular bill, and to thank the Honorable Harrow for bringing this bill to the House. With those few remarks, I support and I submit. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Wabilianga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this motion and to this bill that has been brought forward by the Honorable Abdul. TSC is the employer of our teachers, and TSC has a duty that it must perform in order for these teachers to also perform their duties in class. Among the issues raised are allowances, different allowances to the teachers. I am totally in agreement with Honorable Abdul, because I will highlight a few that really need attention. There is the issue of hardship allowance. TSC has had a skewed method of identifying hardship allowance areas, such that some teachers who actually deserve this hardship allowance don't get the allowance. So as the bill moves on, we expect TSC to get to the right authorities to know who are these teachers that deserve this these hardship allowances, and which areas specifically. So it should be specific on what kind of teachers that will be getting this. Then there's this special allowance to teachers. Teachers teach different subjects. Amongst them, we have science teachers who handle chemicals. No allowance is given to them. Such teachers need to be given an allowance that is called risk allowance, because they handle children, they handle risky chemicals. Should an accident occur and teachers get hurt, get burnt with these chemicals, there's no risk allowance that is given to cushion such teachers. So for the science teachers, as well as the home science teachers, who even do practical cooking, in case of an accident, such teachers are not cautioned, and there is no allowance that cushions them. So, honorable members, it is in our fullest knowledge that we together pass this bill. Then on the acting allowance, it is very clear that teachers have acted in the same position for a very long time. This is only on administrative positions. A teacher cannot act when he has not been given any administrative positions. I want to take an example of a job group called C3 and C4. C3 and C4 are teachers who have stayed and stagnated in such positions for a very long time. Such promotion should just be done automatically without even an interview. But we have principals and deputy principals who have acted for as long as 20 years. We have case studies of teachers who have been deputies for 15 to 20 years in the same school. And when a promotion comes, these are not the teachers who are considered. TSC goes ahead to pick a teacher who is not, even of that same experience, and a teacher with a very little experience, and brings them to that school, now to head the school, making this teacher who has been acting in that school very frustrated. They end up being transferred, and most of them have even retired without these promotions. I want to also commit here that teachers really suffer in this stagnation of job groups just because they have not been given any opportunity. On housing allowance, there's something that we brought up as unions, and it's called harmonization of house allowance. Housing allowance, if harmonized across all the towns of Kenya, will even reduce some of these transfers that teachers seek to get. Because you find teachers teaching in urban areas are at a higher scale compared to teachers who are teaching in the rural. So the housing allowance that is skewed and is not harmonized makes teachers think that if you get a transfer to an urban area, you will get more housing allowance. So this house allowance must be harmonized to make the teachers stay at the same par. And on readers allowance, this is special allowance. This is an allowance which is given to our teachers who are living with disabilities. Article 53(2) spells out the rights of PWDs, both children and the teachers. These teachers deserve to be given an allowance together with their aides. You find that TSC has ignored these teachers. Their aides are not given an allowance. These are teachers who should be given an allowance together with their aides. And alongside with that, KRA should also move ahead and exempt such teachers from paying taxes. But it has not.
Thank you. I think you have done justice to this, bearing in mind that you are part of the teacher union. Honorable members, I would like to give a chance to the Honorable Double N, and also for our IT department. The Honorable Double N has been here since morning, and we could not cite her on the screen. So please go ahead, Honorable Member for Embu County.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to add my voice regarding the current bill that we have, the TSC Amendment Bill. And from the onset, we know that all of us are what we are and who we are because we have passed through the hands of the teachers. Our children, as we speak, some of them are in class because of the efforts of the teachers. And when we are here to support this bill, the amendment bill for the TSC, it's true that teachers need to have some dignity and be treated with dignity. Why? Because some of these teachers, they are so frustrated because of the obvious reasons that we are discussing this morning. Honorable Speaker, we know that teachers play a very, very important role. And I always compare the teachers with the doctors. Because if the teacher decides to frustrate your child or your children in class, then the background and the foundation of your children or your child will be in very, very, very bad situation. So even as I add my voice this morning to support the TSC Amendment Bill, I would wish to point out that it's true some of the teachers have stagnated in one job group for many years, and they feel so frustrated because there's nobody to really speak on their behalf. Some of these teachers, Honorable Speaker, they have been acting in one job group for a long time. Some of them are head teachers. They have been acting for many years. A case in question is the one that has been cited in this Honorable House, where a teacher has been acting for more than 12 years. It is quite unfair. And so I want to request that any teacher should be given a letter to stipulate or stipulating how long he or she should be acting in which capacity. There should be a clear guideline, a letter, not verbal communication. It should be indicated how long is she going to act or he going to act, and what is the acting allowance that he or she should be able to get. Honorable Speaker, as we support this bill, I know the issues of promotion. Some of these teachers have stagnated in one group and they have not been promoted for many years. Some of these teachers, as they act, some of them even retire and they have not even been substantially converted or even been promoted to the acting position that they were in, to the substantive position. So this bill comes in handy where we need to support that all teachers who have been acting should be able to be recognized and be given a letter stipulating all the allowances, the acting period of time that they need to be in acting capacity, so that they don't just act indefinitely until Jesus comes back. So, Honorable Speaker, I request that they should have a letter that is very, very comprehensive, and all the allowances stipulated there, so that they know whether they are acting from this period to this period and what they are expected to have. Honorable Speaker, issues of transfer. If a teacher has not requested for any transfer and the TSC has found it fit to transfer them, then it is the responsibility of the TSC to ensure that they have given that teacher the transfer allowance so that she or he is